Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome to Misscliks D&D Seaborn. How are you guys all doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Neil. Thanks.
Why are you doing fantastic?
Well, I said fantastic in that tone because I'm wiped from this weekend, which was amazing. I was at Heroes of the Dorm, which was on ESPN, which was a rush. But also, I hit my head really hard this weekend, so I've had a headache and felt really weird. So I may be really weird on the show.
Did you decide to fight another couch, Anna?
Oh yeah. The only other time I've really hurt myself by hitting my head was at your place.
Oh.
But yeah, and I'm really excited because we have a guest this week.
We do? Who's our guest?
Our guest is Hirona. She's right there. There? I don't know which direction she is from me.
Over there, hello.
Hirona, who are you? What do you do?
I am a creative streamer and a game streamer on Twitch. And I do freelance animation and motion graphics and branding design.
What's your stream like?
Chaos a lot of the time. It's very relaxed. I don't know. Lots of bickering and bantering and going back and forth and using very colorful language with each other.
Nice. And this is our second week ever with our new cast member. Introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Hi guys, I'm V par la fois, V for short. I am also a creative and variety streamer, and I do glass on Twitch when I'm not in the middle of moving, and play tons and tons of different games. And that's what I do. Go ahead.
And then we have, a boring old cast member that's been here forever. Who's, like, too busy to even, be part of the intro because he's too busy making important phone calls. But that's Trump. And he plays Hearthstone and he streams and, whatever. He's also unconscious, I think his character is.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing that he can make a telephone call unconscious. Hopefully he participates more today.
He's also a mean Mafia player. If you ever have to play Mafia against Trump, just single him out first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, does someone want to give us a recap of what happened last week? Someone that's conscious.
I became captain.
Yeah, you can go ahead if you want, B.
I became captain last week. And let's see, Maribel is my second command. We had to get rid of the previous captain because he was just up to no good. Mm-hmm. We fought some lizard men. Unfortunately, Bruno is down.
Due to somebody's betrayal.
Due to your lack of courage.
Yeah, to give real context, Bruno decided to play dead in the middle of battle and then got actually dead. Mm-hmm. But not all the way dead, so he's just been unconscious. And then our two characters, Trellis is V, I am Maribel.
Yes.
And we went on without him and things. So, but the way we met Hirona's character was we went into the lizard men's village and we had already conquered at least the guards that were left there. No one seemed to be there, but we found that there were some prisoners, and specifically we found this little halfling who was in all sorts of state of terror and was so grateful to be rescued that he pledged himself to our service and said we could call him whatever you want. So Maribel took that literally and called him whatever you want. And that's about where we ended. But like V said, we took basically command of all of these sailors that we had found after this kind of cataclysmic storm crash, something happening with an island appearing where it wasn't once. And we're also missing our friend Albert, the dark elf. We don't know where he's gotten himself off to.
Correct. So, why don't we hop into game here? Bruno is unconscious, as are, I believe, 3 other sailors.
I think we didn't get XP last time.
Oh no.
Good thing that he's keeping track of this. Good job.
Well, we'll deal with XP in a little bit. Why don't you guys...
We're doing it before the action. He caught it before the action.
Before the action, but why don't you guys set yourselves up with what you're doing while I figure out the experience on the side. So what...
Bruno is taking a nap.
What do you do now that Bruno's unconscious and three of your 7 sailors are unconscious? 3 of your 10? A bunch of your sailors are unconscious.
Well, we're back on the beach, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the shore. Okay. And they're healing. We bandage them.
Right.
Herona, do you feel like you have a good enough grasp of what's going on with your character? Or do you have any questions?
Kind of blindly following you guys just to be grateful to be alive.
All right. Well, I guess should we talk to the other men? Let's see. Maribel, what do you think we should do for food while we're here?
I eat grass.
You eat grass? What about Bruno? What does he eat?
I do not know. I will ask him. Oh, by the way, we should introduce our characters because Herona probably doesn't know our characters very well.
Oh, yes.
Good call.
My name is Maribel. I'm a half human, half minotaur. I'm a woman, but I have like a human woman kind of torso and face aspect. And then I have horns and human arms, but kind of like patches of fur, like a minotaur. And then my bottom half is like minotaur legs, and I have hooves. And I'm 7 feet tall, like 7'1" or something like that. And I weigh 330 pounds. So I'm like a giant beastie woman-looking thing. And then I'm decked out with tons and tons of weapons. I'm just like an armory. I'm just like with weapons all over me. And because I'm a minotaur, I tend to take things extremely literally and be very like dry and logical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I am Trellis. No, I do not have plants all over me. But I am about 5'9". I have all silver hair. I'm a human archer, so I just look like a kind of thin girl, but decked out in leather. And then I have a bow, which I carry around, a couple daggers, a Sakara. Not as decked out for sure as Maribel, but I'm very cautious around other people. I'm nice, unless you're evil, then I'm very mean. And that's about it for my character. For now, I'm more of a mystery. Everybody just met me as well.
Bruno's currently lying down on the floor. He's bigger than Trellis, vertically about the same, but horizontally a bit more. And he's got a set of bongos just sitting next to him as he recovers from being brutally gnawed at.
All right. So, Bruno, Maribel, and Trellis, for last week's adventure, you all gained 1,050 experience.
1,050. Sweet. Where's my character sheet?
It's always a good question.
There it is.
1,050?
Yes. And make sure you're all in roll 20. And, yeah, so you guys are all hanging out down by the seaside. Night was approaching, so you pulled everyone back and kind of set up shop in one of these wrecked boats that have washed up on the shore. And you passed the night away. Bruno, what HP were you at before? You're at negative
4, correct.
Negative 4. All right, so you've got a trained herbalist and a trained healer overlooking you and all the sailors. So a trained healer can watch for, I believe it's 3 people a night. Yeah, something like that. 6 people. Okay. So everyone that was wounded and unconscious gains 3 HP. Those of you that are still conscious need a day without combat before you can start really healing. So you're all keep your same HP. That means, Bruno, you're unconscious for the start of this next day. But we'll take it one day at a time and probably see you fairly soon. So, the next morning comes. Looking out across the beach, you see no sign of the vile lizard men that have been attacking you and generally making your life problematic. The crew members who are awake join you guys, and everyone sits down in a circle to have a conversation about what to do next. Of course, Trellis is the captain, but how things normally start off would be the crewmen start exchanging ideas of what to do and where to go, and then the captain weighs in near the end with a final say on the matter. Of course, you can pitch in earlier if you'd like. But the sailors that you've got around you start talking about repairs. Well, there's some other shipwrecks down the coast and a bunch of wood lying around. We could maybe patch this sucker up and push her out to sea. We might be able to limp to that shore that Maribel and Trellis saw.
Ships do not limp, they sail.
Well, metaphorically limp, Halfling, you, what... Where are you from? Where are you going? Are you...
I follow anywhere where Maribel goes. I'm forever in debt to you.
I look very pleased with this, very smug. And I kind of look at everyone to see if they notice that the halfling really believes in me.
Mm-hmm. Everyone gives the halfling a bit of a look. Like this one's a little bit weird that we picked up.
Brown using.
I explained to everyone, we raised this one from the pits of despair in the lizardmen's camp. I believe we should go inland. Our comrade is there and we must rescue him.
Where?
Inland.
But where inland?
Maribel looks confused by this.
It's a big island,
That way.
Well, we do know he was at the camp, so we do know that the lizardmen definitely would have him, and we will not sail without him, as he is a viable member to the party that I am traveling with.
So says the captain.
Okay. So what do we do in the meantime? How do we get off this island?
Well, as we search for our friend, of course, the repairs will need to be done. You discussed it. You could send a couple people off to get the wood that we need and the exact items that we need to repair the ship. Can we trust you to do that?
They nod.
Do any of you have tracking experience?
People begin to shake their head, but I believe Trellis has some serious tracking experience. You're a ranger, right, Trellis?
Yes.
Yes.
So I do.
Yes.
All right. Well, good thing I'm in the party. I do have tracking experience, Maribel, so I will be helpful in this venture to save your friend.
I nod approvingly. When shall we set out?
Well, we should probably wait for Bruno to heal up, because we'll need to bring him along. He'll be helpful. We don't have too many others that can come with us. Most of you men will stay to repair the ship. Do any of you feel strong enough in combat or to join us in the trip? How do we trust that you won't take the ship and leave?
They all kind of exchange glances and say, well, this... one person eventually speaks up saying, I don't think the ship will be repaired for a while. I don't know if any of us have any real experience doing this. It could take a couple of weeks. We might be here fairly long term. Might take months.
Months?
He shrugs. I've never repaired a ship. We don't have nails. We don't have pitch or tar.
Well, who normally repairs anything on your ship?
Well, you'd stop in a harbor and the, dry dock workers deal with it. I'm a sailor, man. I don't work on land.
Okay, calm down.
Do not raise your voice to the captain.
Aye.
All right, well, we'll take one of you guys, one of you who feels more strongly to go along with us. We'll need at least one. But for the meantime, most of you need to go and go ahead and visit those shipwrecks and grab whatever supplies you can. The healer will stay here with me, and we'll watch over those that are wounded until they recover.
Okay. The crew scatters to do their duties. The rest of the day is spent with people gathering supplies, trying to drag back bits of wood, finding whatever tools can be found. By the end of the day, there's a large pile of nails that has been created and a bunch of extra boards that have been brought over.
Right.
And the men report having seen lizard men off in the edge of the forest and down by the swamp. Not coming onto the sand, not coming onto the beach or attacking, but just lizardmen scouts watching and observing from a distance.
Is this the swamp that we were at just recently, or is it another area?
Yeah. So if we look at the map in Roll20, you guys are here where the ship is parked. So they report seeing various lizard men kind of in this area that I've just marked, and some of them down here. As the crew went up and down the coast looking for supplies. Well,
Maribel, I turn to Maribel and look at her because we're the ones to plan the course of action. I know these men can't really handle the lizard men, so we should probably take them out little by little, especially if they hear word that we're still here and come at us. Grouped up, we'd have a hard time.
Agreed. Small person, do you have experience in battle?
I'm not too confrontational. Usually I try to use the shadows to my benefit.
I see.
Perhaps an element of surprise.
So you may aid us as a scout.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps even setting up an ambush.
Ah, you know how to set traps.
I believe I can figure it out.
This will come in very useful.
Okay.
Shall we rest a few days until Bruno awakes and then set off?
I think that would be wise.
Okay.
So as this kind of, the bustle of camp is happening, I find whatever you want and I sit down with him next to a tree. But when I sit down, my torso is about as tall as he probably is. So we're on equal footing, and I'm just kind of absentmindedly picking some grass and then kind of putting it in my mouth and chewing it and looking around. And I sit there in silence for a while because I'm really comfortable in silence. And then I say, so whatever you want. Where did you come from?
Oh, there's not much to tell. My parents were farmers in a small town. I suppose the idea of the big city lights had always kind of drove me. I found myself in the streets, picking up some tricks of the trade, if you know.
Did you come here on one of these boats that shipwrecked?
No, I was a passenger on a boat. But then we had some kind of issues, and then I got into the hands of the lizard men.
Do you know anything about them? Neil, and you can tell her if she has any insight into.
No, you were pretty much just taken from where you woke up on the beach and put into a pit by these strange 7-foot-tall lizard men who carried spears and clubs, but were otherwise, just scales.
What is it you like about lights? You said that the big city lights always...
Oh, the pretty shiny things.
You like shining things.
And gems. Oh, yes.
I see.
While they're talking, I'm just kind of, since I had a little bit of trouble last time, I am just practicing kind of shooting the tree with my arrows, gathering them, going back and doing the same thing again.
Nice.
Doing a little bit of combat practice.
Right.
But also listening, of course.
That next day passes, and everybody in the party who's wounded gains 2 HP, and Bruno, you wake up the next morning with, 2 HP. Because you got complete bed rest, so you're getting 3 a day. And one of the other sailors wakes up as well, The remaining 3 sailors, I believe it is, are still unconscious.
Now we are rested, right? After each night of rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, feels good to be back up.
Indeed. What happened in battle that laid our fair leader so low?
Well, you know how it was. 2 of them came right after me. Charles took down one of them, but it looks like she decided to help you out instead of myself, and the other one ran me over.
I give a sharp look to Bruno. I decided not to help you out.
Well, it was your choice.
You can handle one guy on your own. Can you not?
Well, if you had noticed, I was kind of heavily wounded, but I understand. Maribel looked like she was in a lot of trouble. But let that be a lesson to you. Maribel is more durable than she looks.
Yes, and you might want to practice your combat a little bit.
Well, you see, now that I've gotten this spellbook over here, and I kind of point at the one that we found last time, I think I'll be much more useful. Just give me a few days to pick up a few new tricks.
I lean over conspiratorially and I say, he is a great wizard.
Oh, okay.
You see,
Just
we wizards,
like a princess. I get it.
yes, we wizards, we don't do very well on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
This little guy here. Hey, how are you? Who are you?
Oh, I'm whatever you want.
Wait, what?
That is my name.
That's a strange name. Are you sure that's your name?
It is as far as whatever it is Maribel wants me to be.
Wait, Maribel, you know that's not really her name. His name, right?
that is what he told me his name was. Is that not your name? Would you like a different name?
It can be whatever you want.
See? This is the name he wishes.
Hey, I kind of bring the halfling in a bit. Maribel's not intimidating you, is she?
Oh no, she's my savior. She saved me.
I think she would like you to tell her what your real name is. You see, she takes things very literally.
Oh. Well, I don't want to upset her and not have her use the name that she gave me. I don't want to disrespect her.
She wouldn't want to give you a name. She just wanted to know what name yours was, and you told her whatever you want, you see. And now she thinks that that's your name.
Well, that is fine with me.
We might want to give you a shorter name then.
You can call me Rufus.
All right. Rufus it is, and nobody has a problem with your name. Don't worry.
The crew shakes their head violently.
Violently.
Okay, Rufus. Maribel, did you know this one's name is Rufus?
It is. Is whatever you want your surname?
Yes.
I understand. Rufus, whatever you want. I'm glad you're here. Now, Bruno, that you are awake, it is important that we find Dark Albert.
It certainly is.
Yes, it turns out the lizardmen had taken him. That's where we found Rufus. And so we don't know where exactly he is, but I do have tracking experience. So once everybody's awake, we can set out. We'll take maybe a man or two with us, and we'll set out to look for your friend. I'll do my best to help find him.
Okay. One of the crewmen speaks up and says, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but as long as you all are sitting around resting up, there are a couple of things that we need done on the ship while we go out and get supplies and bring back wood and stuff.
That's fine. What is it that needs to be done?
Well, at some point we're going to need some tar or some pitch or something to seal the boards with. And some of our guys have seen tar pits lying around, or like big globs of tar on the beach, but we need something to transport it in. Some sort of something to move tar around in and then to melt it over a fire. So we need to come up with a way to collect large amounts of tar, either from tar pits or from just the beach, and then heat it to a liquid that we can slop on the boat. We put our heads together and couldn't come up with anything.
Did we see anything like that in the village, like a cauldron or a pot or anything?
You didn't see any metal supplies.
Not stone or anything either?
I don't think you saw any stone cookware, but it might have been there.
So we'd have to go back and look again.
Could do.
All right.
While I was out, did I notice any... one of the spell components calls for something called gum Arabic, which is some kind of natural occurring sap. Do I think any of that is on the island?
Ooh, good question. Hardened sap from various species of the something or other tree. Yes. You have a feeling that you might be able you've seen some of these trees from atop the hill that you were perched on. They seem to be growing mostly in the swamps.
Oh, fantastic. That's something you fine fellows could accrue as well. You see, I kind of motion my hands around all my wounds. I think I need a little bit of rest. A little bit. The slightest gust of wind could blow me over right now. Wouldn't be much use to you dead. But I'm going to study up on a very useful spell. And if you guys could find some sap for me, that would be great.
I start holding like my cloak up. I'm like testing which way the wind is coming. And then I like hold my cloak up next to Bruno. Like this.
What are you doing, Maribel?
I would not want the wind to blow you over.
Thank you very much, Maribel.
You're welcome.
You're a true ally.
However, I do hope that you heal soon. I grow impatient. We need to go rescue our friend.
Well, once I learn this spell, you see, I will be very safe while we rescue our friend.
All right. In the meantime, I say, let me know when you're ready to leave. And then I say, Rufus, whatever you want. Come join me. We will find some tar.
And sap.
And sap. So I just
Fellas, you're the one who knows a bunch of herbalism, right?
I am, yes. What is it that you need?
I need this exact sap, and I kind of describe it. It's gum Arabic, and you know what it is as a herbalist.
Let's see. So I don't have any way to hold the sap once I get it, though, correct?
Correct.
All right.
I mean, I guess you could put it in your pockets. It's kind of like a dry, sticky sap rather than a wet, flowing one.
Okay, and aren't there like coconuts on the beach, right?
There are. There are many.
I go ahead and grab a couple coconuts. I take one of my daggers and I just kind of cut out a little hole in each of them, and then I pour. Well, I either drink. I guess I could drink whatever's in them. I could drink one and then just empty out a couple others, and I use those. I put those. Tie those to me, and I'm going to put sap in those.
Cool. So is the party splitting up and going in different directions now? Is that what I've gathered?
I stay in the local area, like just around where we're at, and I just gather them from anything I see on the ground. So within like a 20, 30-foot radius.
You're muted, Anna.
Sorry. I'm mostly like just meandering the tree line and basically making myself useful while I wait for them to be ready to go because I'm getting impatient.
Okay.
Me, I'm staying near shelter and studying the book.
So after I gather the coconuts and I have those ready with me, I go ahead and go. What tree is it that I need to go to in order to find that sap? it could be any tree, correct?
That's specific trees. You'll know them when you see them.
Okay, and then I look for the trees that have that specific sap in them.
Okay, and who are you taking with you on this journey to find these trees? Or are you going solo?
I think since Maribel, you look restless. Why don't you come with me? You're tall enough. You could reach some areas that I might not be able to reach.
Yes, Captain.
All right.
Come, whatever you want.
I take Maribel and Rufus with us.
Okay.
And we go out and look for the trees.
Sure. So you guys start exploring. Bruno, you're hanging back, resting up. Which direction would... last time you saw them, the trees were in the swamp, so you should probably head that direction. Would you like to go along the coast or over the hills? And if you all take a look at the map, you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
Because you're here by the ship, so you can go along the coast, or you can pop over the hills, or I guess you could go around the hills and over the rivers.
Let's go ahead and go above the hills. That way, in case anybody's coming at us, we can see them.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. All right. You get to the top of the hill without any problems. But as you get up there, you see down on the side of the hill nearest the forest, there are 2 lizardmen scouts that seem to be shadowing your movements and keeping a good distance, like a good 300 feet away, and watching you and kind of moving along, seeing wherever it is that you go.
I turn to Maribel and I whisper and let her know, we have some men that are trailing with us. I think since Rufus is good at setting up traps, we might want to set up a trap for them and catch them off guard. What do you say?
I think this is a marvelous idea.
All right.
So I team up with Rufus, and I have some proficiency at setting snares myself. Rufus, do you have a suggestion as to how we should capture these 2 lizard men?
Well, seeing as how they might be following us, I think they're after us. Perhaps I could be bait.
This is a good idea and very brave. I look approvingly at him. I kind of like awkwardly pat him on the head, like lovingly, but it's like awkward. And then I say, with you as bait, shall we dig a pit for them to fall into, or shall we try to snag their legs and pull them up into a tree?
I think maybe if I can get their attention, we should build a pit. And then I'll maneuver my way around the pit and perhaps trick them into falling into it.
This is a sound plan.
This
However,
way
we must dig a pit then.
Yes, we do. I don't want them to get hurt because hopefully maybe we can question them and find out the whereabouts of your friend.
How quickly do we think we could dig a pit?
How deep of a pit would you like to dig?
The lizard men are like 7 feet tall, aren't they?
Yes.
It's a big pit.
Yeah.
6.5-ish.
I think that would take a long time and they might see us.
All right, let me think.
What supplies do you guys have on you?
I have a rope and weapons. I think perhaps we might be better served by making a some sort of lasso loop that they might step in, and then we could bend a tree over and snap it up to grab their foot and keep them hanging from the tree by 1 foot. Or if we could find a fishing net, perhaps we could cover the net with foliage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Star Wars style, just whoop. What do you suggest, small Rufus?
I think a large net would be better because then they'll be all captured. And if anything, we can drag them off back to the crew.
I like this plan. Captain, did you see any nets about the ships?
Did I see any nets, Neil?
Yes, some of the crewmen have dragged back nets or have been using nets to haul planks of wood that they've taken from other ships that they've found scattered about the island.
There were a couple nets back there, so I think one of us could run quickly. Could probably run quickly back to get one. Just would have to be careful and stay out of sight. And keep the lizard men distracted so that they don't follow.
Right.
Rufus, do you feel okay if you can, since you're the smallest one of us, do you want to run back and go ahead and... Okay. Why don't you go back and get a net quickly?
Of course, Captain.
Okay.
I take an arrowhead that I happen to have carried with me, and I say, show this to them and say that it is the seal of the captain.
Okay. I take the arrowhead, put it in my little pocket.
Godspeed, small Rufus. And then I say, I guess we just lead the lizard men on kind of a wild goose chase around in circles for a while.
Would you please map out your wild goose chase on the map?
Sure. So we're starting
At the top of the southern
here?
hill. Yes.
That one?
Yes.
And the boat is here.
Yes.
Then I guess we kind of go like between, wait, how do I name it? We go like from the top of this hill down in between the hills, and then we go up to the top of this hill, and then we go around these trees, and then we kind of like quickly circle back to the top of this hill, and then back to here to meet Rufus.
Okay. I think I followed you. Your drawing didn't show until you unclicked at the very end.
Whoops.
But I think you meant go this way, like this.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, excellent. You lead the lizard men on a goose chase. Let's see how they take it. Can I get a perception check from both of you? Trellis and Maribel. That would be a D20 plus your perception score.
My perception is not so good. That's not bad.
That's quite good. And it's good that you passed, because a 20 is not good enough. So, you lead these lizard men kind of through circles in the woods, following, I guess, your own path of your own making. And you see them shadowing you the whole time. As you go this way, as you go north, they kind of follow north a little bit to the east, a little bit to the west. As you start to curve west, they head south. And as you start to go further west, they move east. And they just kind of keep a good distance from you, just barely within sight, as far as possible, while keeping their eyes still on you. And after an hour of running around, you make it back to the top of the hill. Meanwhile, Rufus, you run back to the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do once you get there?
I get there, I'm a little out of breath, and I look for the first crew member to show the arrowhead and ask them if they can give me a net so I can bring it back to the captain in Maribel.
Yeah, one of the wounded crewmen is propped up against the side of the ship, currently actually working on repairing a net as you approach him. When you present the arrowhead, he gives you a confused and bewildered look. Huh? Arrowhead?
Oh. Well, Maribel, she told me that you would understand that, that I would be able to get a net, that you knew that I was coming on behalf of the captain.
On who else's behalf would you be coming on?
Well, Maribel and the captain. We're trying to trap some lizard men.
Okay. Okay. Here, just take the net. It's pretty much done. Return it. Return it when you're done with it. It needs a little bit of fixing. The left side's a little weak. Do I keep the arrowhead? He says, reaching for it confusedly.
I take it back.
Okay.
She'll probably want this back.
Yeah.
Put it in my little pocket very quickly. I bundle up the net as much as I can, but it's way more than I can actually carry.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
and all they see is my 2 little legs digging into the sand as I run back into the tree line.
Okay. You make it back up the hill without any issues, without spotting any lizard men, and the 3 of you are reunited. Let's take a quick look over at Bruno in the meantime. Bruno, you're chilling at the ship by yourself. What are you doing?
I am very intently poring over this spell, which, well, spells, I'm going to try to learn. How many of them do you think I can focus on each time?
Each spell takes D2 days per spell level to learn. So you can pick one spell at a time, and then we'll just roll to see if you learn it and how long it takes.
Okay, it is a level 2 spell.
So it'll take you 2d2 days. And what is your chance to learn spell?
Let's see.
It should be under intelligence.
Yes, what happened to this? Ah, there it is. Intelligence. It is 55%.
Okay. So, you'll have to spend at least 8 hours a day for the next unknown number of days learning the spell, and then I will make a roll for you in secret when enough time has passed, and then you will learn it, or if you fail to learn it after 4 days, you'll just, give up.
So is this not I can learn 2 spells at once, or I can focus only on this one?
Only on one spell at a time.
Okay, well, this is the one I would focus on then. Great.
Okay. What spell are you learning?
It is my bardic personality would not want to reveal that to the group.
I see.
When they see it, they'll see it.
All right. Can you message it to me in private?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
But I can assure you it will be wonderful.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what you're learning. Great. So back up the hill, the 3 of you have gathered. The lizard men are off in the distance, still watching you.
All right, you guys, Rufus, you came back with a net. Good job. Go ahead and set that up.
Should Rufus and I roll a set snares check?
Yes. I would love it if both of you did. I didn't give Rufus the set snares score that he's got to roll. Give me 1 second to look that up.
Okay, I have to figure out how to do the rolling on this.
So you just type /roll, and
Okay.
then whatever dice you're going to roll, which will probably in this case be D20.
Yes, it's going to be a D20 plus 16 for you, Rufus, and you want a 21 or higher. Maribel, I think you've got your score on the second page of your character sheet that you're trying to roll.
I have set snares written down, but the check number is not there. Is it my dex?
It is 1 less than your dex.
Okay, so 10. Let me add that before I forget. Hello, character sheet. Okay.
Clacky, 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 clacky.
Sorry, I always forget this keyboard. So
Well, thankfully Rufus got it. So Maribel goes around trying to set the net up, and Rufus, you see her doing it wrong. Just like wrong. How do you go about correcting the 7'1" Minotaur covered with weapons? Half Minotaur, I'm sorry.
You're doing a really, really good job. This way is much better. And it's probably because my hands are much smaller, so I can handle the net much easier than you can. So even though as she does it, she's going to keep doing, I guess, whatever she's doing, and I'll just fix it as we go and try and act like it's not a big deal whatsoever. Even though it would have been a complete waste of our time.
I'm like nod approvingly whenever you fix something. I'm like, yes, I see.
Okay.
Certainly, that is better.
All right. So you've got this net that you're setting up and using ropes to bring the edges together, corners together. And then where are you setting it up? On top of the hill? At the base of the hill? On which side?
So if, just on the other side of the crest from where the lizard men are, so to minimize chances of them seeing that we're setting this up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What number is that? I can't. It's a bad die. There we go. Ah. All right, so you set up this trap, keeping someone in a visible position so the lizard men don't loop around and approach from the other side to see what you're doing. And after a couple of hours of work, you've got this net set up and kind of covered with dead leaves and dry grass, and the rope strung in such a way that it'll effectively bring the net up and trap whatever's in it. And you've attached the other end of the rope to a large weight, like a boulder on the side of the hill that you can just roll down, which will pull the net and pull whatever's inside of it together. Maribel, how much rope did you have?
Let me double check. I think it was like 50...
50 feet of silk rope?
I can't remember if it was silk or hemp. Let me see. I think it was hemp rope.
Yep, it was hemp. The one that I've given you from a long time ago.
Well, because we both had some. Because I think I had hemp rope, and then Bruno gave me his to carry too. So I think I had either 50 or 100. My character sheet's all messed up though.
It would be 100 then.
Okay.
So let's say 100.
All right, so it's 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, so then the rope is short enough that it's going to actually have to be attached to like a tree branch that someone cuts down for the counterweight. Yeah, so someone's going to have to be like positioned in a tree, ready to strike the last blow on the branch to break it and all that fun stuff. So your trap is set. Who is going to be the axe man in the tree, triggering the final trap?
I wouldn't mind.
I was going to say I could probably easily climb up in it unless you wanted me to maneuver and distract them. We need to figure out who is going to be the person to capture the attention of the lizard men and lead them this way.
Yes, we must ensure that they actually walk over this point. So we should either leave something of interest to them or try to coax them onto it. They seem to be keeping their distance from us, so we certainly couldn't stand there and wait for them. Although they might be willing to take Rufus captive again, since we did take him last time.
Yeah, I agree. Rufus would be the obvious choice for them to choose. I'll go ahead and get into the tree. I have a bow and arrow, so I'd be able to shoot from afar if need be.
All right.
I will continue as though I have left Rufus behind, but then circle back and hide in the bushes.
All right.
Okay.
I go ahead and scale the tree.
You get into a good spot. You're going to need some sort of axe-like thing to chop the branch. Does anyone have a hand axe or a... Maribel's got a pole axe.
I've got daggers.
I have
that one or that one.
I have a long sword.
Does the Sapara not work then?
You know what? That's it. Yeah, I forgot that you had a Sapara. That's that oddly shaped, kind of axe-looking weapon, actually. That'll probably be quite perfect. It's nice and heavy for hacking.
All right. I'll use that then.
Fantastic. So all that's left is for Rufus to spring the trap. Rufus, how do you do this?
Lure them over?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're going to be watching. If not, I will peek over so that they see where I am and they'll follow me down. And maybe within the clearing that we made our net, I could act as though I am waiting to set up camp, as if I'm going to be there for a while.
Okay.
And maybe interest them coming and seeing me, getting me back.
All right. So you peek your head over. You see the lizard men down in some bushes. There's a pair of them. They have spears with stone heads, and they are watching intently as you peek your head over the edge and then duck back down. And a little bit of time passes, and you haven't heard or seen of them yet.
Perhaps I should fake that I'm hurt?
I circled back and I'm waiting in the bushes, and I, if he whispers that to me, I nod, yes, look in distress.
I will pick up a rock that I find nearby and throw it into some branches so it sounds as though I've fallen and hurt. And then I quickly will throw myself onto the ground and grab my leg. I'm rolling, wailing, why my knee? Why did I follow them out here?
All right. You roll around within sight of the lizard men for a little while, clutching your knee. And at first, they don't seem to respond. But after a minute or two of it, they kind of start looking around, poking their head over their bushes, and then they break and start running up the hill towards you as quickly as possible. What do you do?
I continue up my acting, but as they get closer and closer, real fear actually starts to take over me. And I start crawling backwards and trying to get away and trying to get up onto my feet, and they're closing in on me.
They begin to close in on you. You scampering back towards the trap that's laid. You push yourself over it just as the lizard men get to the top of the hill, their spears kind of glinting off the sunlight, whatever obsidian they're using. And they unleash this weird kind of cackling, hissing, this sort of noise as they walk towards you, spears pointed and kind of jabbing at the air menacingly, while continuing this weird hissing laughter. You pull yourself off of the net as the lizard men walk into it. But before the trap is sprung, why don't we go to our first break?
Ooh.
And we'll see you guys in a few minutes on the other side of our break. Bye-bye, everyone.